So that's fine. Okay, fine. A little bit of perseverance also. Okay. So that's all the naming basically. Like this. Sharing has to happen. We stopped at 41. We'll about 42 when we start. Is it this is visible? Voice okay? Everything is okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, everything is okay.
Hare Krishna. Let me just
Everything is okay, Prabhuji.
we wait for some time for the participants to join.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The link has to be already sent. Okay. So you can once again send the link. Yesterday, how many participants were there? 8, no? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in total 9 have come, but in between one has left,
Okay, okay. Okay, let's start.
including
I
you and
mean,
me. Including you and me,
I-
Prabhuji.
so that means 7 primarily.
6,
Okay.
Prabhuji, actually, no? Means 9, yes, 7, actually. But that person came for some time, only for 5-10
Okay.
minutes, not more than that.
Okay, okay. So 9 minus, okay, fine. 9 minus 2, 7 or whatever. 9 minus 3. Fine. Okay. Okay, let's start. How many have joined till now? Only one?
2, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let's start. Hare Krishna. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो 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 विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Okay, so let's start from 42 we ended. So this is I mean slide, of course, 24th is the verse. So अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिम् अपन्नं मन्यते माम् अबुद्धयः परं भावम् अजानान्तो माम् अव्ययम् अनुत्तमाम्. Unintelligent man who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Yeah, this has been the normal course of deliberation which the Mayavadis do most of the time. They do not accept Krishna as the supreme person. In fact, we have the chapter, special chapter dedicated to the Purushottama Yoga, right? So Krishna is the supreme person. It is not that he is having only all the six excellences, God, but it's an impersonal feature, some kind of light, some energy. All that is not there. People don't, most of the Mayavadis, they don't want to just think that, because they always think that a person in the form of a person has all the limitations, because they have limitations. They see in each individual the human beings with so many defects, all four defects, all miseries, all this. Having known about all this, they kind of cannot fathom to the fact that supreme personal godhead actually is a person, is having a beautiful feature, that is the beautiful feature of Krishna, which uh, all devotees worship. So they cannot understand the impersonal. They think that he's impersonal, and also they think that in a particular time, like in the Dwapara Yuga, when Krishna's appearance came, they think that he just took a form in a particular time, whereas his divine form, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, Yo Bhakti Me Tattvataha. So his beautiful form is an eternal, permanent, transcendental form, which these people cannot understand. That is what Krishna is saying. So, Naham Prakasah Sarvasya Yogamaya Samabritah Mudhoyam Navijananti Lokomam Ajam Abhyayam. So, again, the Mudha word has come. Prabhupada always says, yesterday only I was saying, right? So I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Yoga Maya. So there are two Mayas. One is Yoga Maya, one is Maha Maya. Yoga Maya is his internal potency and eternal creative potency. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. So he is unborn, that is Aja, and infallible, he is Achyuta. Here, of course, the word used is Abhyayam. Ajam for unborn and Abhyayam for infallible. Also, the infallible is used as a Achyuta in other verses that we have seen. So, as we are discussing that there are only two ways to be. One is either we surrender to Maya or we surrender to Krishna. There is no other way. So, because this chapter is knowledge of the absolute, so let us just try to understand through analytics. So, Lord Krishna never manifests to the foolish and unintelligent. And the qualification of understanding Lord Krishna is, and only qualification is to the pure devotees, not for just anyone, not even for the Ashtanga yogis, who ultimately come to the transcendental platform, to the platform of bhakti, and after that only Krishna appears to them. Because we know Anukulyano Krishna Anu Shilanam. So, except devotees all consider him as ordinary. That's the whole difference. In fact, in fact, forget about the Kali Yuga. Even in Dwapar Yuga, there were so many unintelligent people around where Krishna was himself, he was present in his form, in his eternal form, he was present, and people could not understand. So, what kind of unintelligent people they have at that point of time, and what to talk about Kali Yuga? So, we have the entire Kaurava clan, we have so many other asuras comes, all his, you know, demons that he was sending, everyone. So, result of being impersonalist, what happens to them? They do not know Lord as born and infallible. They think that he takes birth. So, like the appearance which we say, so we do not use the word birth and death for Krishna. We say appearance and disappearance. So we do not even talk uh, on these terms for our gurus in our parampara. Therefore, we observe the days at the appearance day and disappearance day, right? So they do not know Lord as unborn and infallible, and Supreme Lord, that is absolute truth, hides from foolish and unintelligent. So they may try various methods, but he is not available. As we're discussing that Krishna will give everything, all opulences, because he is having unlimited opulence. So anything. In fact, he was offering everything to Prahlad Maharaj. But he said after you know just seeing, and also to Dhruva Maharaj as well. But after he saw, he forgot everything. This happens. This happens. So verse 7.26 to 7.30, knowing Krishna as the source of both the material and spiritual energies. So yeah. So, O Arjuna, as a supreme personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. This is in 7.26. The similar thing he has said before also. Like it is about the soul that he talked about. In the chapter 2, नान्यं भूत्वा भवितावन भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतम पुराण न हन्यते हन्यमान सूर्ये न भविता बाना भूयः. It has never happened before. It cannot happen. It is not happening now. It will never happen in the future. So that means it is eternal. O Sayan of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. So these are the two things: desire and hate. And this Prasannatma, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, when we say na kankshati na, he neither desires nor hates. So persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. We can see this can happen only when someone is in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, all other methods, there is alone one cannot do because that's a fight. That is something someone is battling. Like in case of Ashtanga Yoga, one is trying to simply battle all the anarthas. And here, what we're doing, all the anarthas which are there, whether the distractions, the hate, the desire, everything we're converting for Krishna. So, how living entities are covered by Maya? Because they are desiring to enjoy separately from Krishna. When Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and living entity wants to enjoy separately, then they immediately get deluded with to the Maya. And the moment living entity is entangled with Maya, then the normal course of action is that they become part of any of the gunas based on the predispositions they have. So effects of manifestation of illusory energy, that is Maya, duality of desire and hate, and symptoms of such delusion is they want to become one with the Lord, like the Mayavadis. They want to merge with the Brahma Jyoti. They don't want to accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. So there is nothing like a devotional service, because devotional service requires to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and na matta parataram nanyat. That's what we learned. That Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paravam Bhavan. All this acceptance has to come. Otherwise, this will happen that they're trying to merge with the Brahma Jyoti and try to have. It is not that they do not have bliss there. They have some bliss there, and that bliss is called Brahmananda, but which is again very, very temporary. It goes off because there is no exchange, so it is not eternal. And moreover, it is not Golak Vrindavan that everything is eternal. It is again a place where there is a downfall. And why all this is happening? This is happening because of two things. One, they are envying Krishna, and two, they are also having a lot of wants for themselves. They want to enjoy for themselves. They don't want to please Krishna. So, think Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energy. Manifestation of dualities of delusion are dishonor, honor, good, bad. All the opposites like are something which manifests with these Mayavadis, because they do not go by the process which is prescribed in our parampara and our shastra. And how can they get free from this covering of Maya? Very simple, is a recognize Krishna's supremacy, matta paratara nanyat, and become a devotee of Krishna. Once it is done, there is only one way, that is Golak Vrindavan, and the way where from there is no return. So, qualifications of a devotee to perform the determined devotional service, the qualification required to perform this service are: number one is they are very, very pious, and also like all the Sukritinas that we talked about. For example, Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Jnani, all these who surrender to Krishna are actually pious, either pious in this life or they are particularly have been pious in the previous life. So therefore, they have come to this fold now, and they cease to act according to desire and hate, and freedom from dualities of delusion. And slowly, the sinful actions are completely eradicated. Process, the sinful reactions are eradicated, so they become qualified for the devotional service. But that doesn't happen in one day. We are all in the same path, neophytes. We are doing the Vaidhi Bhakti. Slowly we're going to the Sadhana Bhakti, and ultimately at on in some life, this life, or we do not know how much lives it will take to go to the stage of Prema Bhakti. So, for whom it is difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hatred, those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful. So, naturally, the impersonalists and all the Duskritinas, it is just not possible for them. So, they lack the following the knowledge, they forget the position that all the, they are all subordinates to God, I mean, Krishna, and how to be seated on spiritual platform. Who can accept this process? Those who leave practicing the regulative principles of religion. We have acted piously, we have conquered the sinful reaction, and by that, the next step is gradually they meditate in trance on the Supreme Personal Godhead, and ultimately, the best process is this elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of the pure devotees. So there cannot be any comparison of association of pure devotees. In fact, when people go to temples, Krishna temple in its ISKCON in particular, for any celebration, let's say it is Janmashtami or any other function, it is not just the function. In fact, they come from so much of travel from distant places just to be in association with the devotees, because that is something absolutely unavailable to rest of the practitioners. This is a great thing by itself, and by sheer association, one can elevate to the next level of bhakti from by the is slowly, because there can be two siddhas. One is the Vaidhi Siddhi, and other is the Kripa Siddhi. So there can be mercy also, and that the mercy can come from even pure devotees, from gurus, and also Krishna. So the result, association with materialistic people is a path to darkest region of existence, because they will have their hatred, the desire, kama, krodho, labho, moho, madha, mascharya, everything will be there. However, in case of devotees, if they're so living entity can get liberation from bewilderment by devotional service of Krishna consciousness by association with the devotees. So devotee travels earth to recover the conditional souls from their delusion, that is their mercy, their association of great devotees, and that is called Mahat Seva. That Seva, in fact, opens the door of liberation. So when Prabhupada says bhakti as devotional service, he meant it is a action. It is an action-packed bhakti. It is not dry speculation. जरामरण मोक्ष जरामरण मोक्षाय मामाश्रित यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं करमं चाखिलम्. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. This is, we can say, great Rathayatra is happening. And we have also seen Pratap Rudradev, how he come down and sweep as a king also. So they are actually in the, Brahman, because they entirely know everything about the transcendental activities of Krishna. Then there are certain words are introduced by Krishna now, and the answers also he will be giving in the next chapter. So Sadhi Bhutadhi Devam Mam Sadhi Yagam Cha Ye Veduhu Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Viduryukta Chetasaha. Those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation of the demigods and of methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. We can see here Bhisma Deva in the Sarasajja. And he is the best example. In the Bhagavatam, we see this, the beautiful, how Krishna, in fact, asked Yudhishthira that please go to Bhishma and have the knowledge of Rajadharma. And Bhishma was such an exalted devotee. He is one of the Mahajana, that Krishna himself was present at the time of death. We are talking about simply remember Krishna, because just whatever will be the last thought, accordingly the body that a living entity will have. If Krishna is in the last thought, then he will have the body of Krishna and go to Golaka Vrindavan in the body of Krishna. Like that is the Sarupya Mukti. And that is what Bhishma Deva had. So devotee can know Krishna at death and go back to him. How? Because of these processes. This is first begins with the association with devotee. What we're doing, even now, what we're doing the devotee association. So we are primarily, anybody is doing, he's not even adding or deleting any word other than what our founder Acharya Prabhupada has said. Basically, whatever the purport he has said, that is it. And that is the final thing. And based on that, this is the devotee association which is going on. Even this class is a devotee association, and one of the wonderful devotee association, we can say. And then we can have a physical uh, presence in the temple or in the function. So they never deviated from the path of entirely understand Krishna in transcendental association, understand Lord as governing principle of material manifestation. It means everything is run by Krishna only. Even the powers of the demigods are coming from Krishna. He is the benefactor of all the sacrifices. This understanding a devotee has. And so, by all these three understanding, he gradually become convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he accepts. When we read Gita, we accept Krishna as he is. As Arjuna accept Krishna, we are supposed to accept Krishna in the same way. Then only Gita can be told or can be understood. And After this, at the time of death, when these four processes happen, then naturally, because of this cultivation of bhakti in a regular and a regular with the regulative principles, at the time of death, he can never forget Krishna and promoted to Goloka Vrindavan. But this cannot happen. One cannot plan that I'll do all kind of anarthas, I'll do all kind of papas, any all enjoyments, and then Krishna is giving a beautiful formula. I'll use that formula. I'll write it somewhere so that at the time of death, I just will remember Krishna, so that I'll go to. So this will not happen. This just cannot happen without any practice, and therefore the entire life, Prabhupada says, is nothing but a practice for the final test. There is only one test, and that is at the time of death. So all this while, from whether in the ashramas we are there, or in the varnas we are there, or in anything that we're doing, all these things are purely practice for the final test. So there are the three, areas. One is the Adhibhuta, who is the governing principle of, material manifestation, and Adhidaiva is the governing principle of demigods, and Adhiyagya is the governing principle of methods of sacrifices. So this is the summary of seven. Knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him, knowing Krishna as a source of both material and spiritual energies. He has Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti. We are the living entities, are the marginal energy. And then the three modes are controlled by Krishna, Devi, Hesha, Gunamaya, Mama Maya, Duratvaya. Mave ye prapadante, Maya metam tarantite. Then four people, four Sukritinas who surrenders, that is Artha, Arthartik, Jnani, Jigyasu, and Jnani. And there are others, Mudha, then Maya Aparuta, Jnanam, and then who are the others? The Naradhama, and then Asuri Bhava Asrita. So all these people are also, they are impious and they do not surrender to Krishna. Then there is a bewilderment of living entity, and so this how to get out of this bewilderment will now talk in the next chapter. So we start with 8 now. So 8 is Bhagavad Gita, that is attaining the supreme. So let's start 8. Humble obeisance to Radha Govinda. So this we have already covered, the bewilderment of living entity and his freedom through knowledge of Krishna. And from here onwards, the 8 starts. Chapter 8 sections are 8.1 to 8.4, Krishna's answers to Arjuna's questions. And what are the questions? There are 5 questions Arjuna will ask about Adi Bhuta, Adi Yajna, and so many others that we'll see. Then 8.5 to 8.8, 3 verses remembering Krishna at the time of death. Then 9 to 13, remembering Krishna, that is how to practice remembrance through meditation. Then 14 to 16, pure devotional service, remembrance of Krishna through bhakti. And 8.7 to 8.22, comparing the material and spiritual worlds, glories of the supreme abode. So what is the difference? What is the difference of spiritual world, Krishna's world or Krishna's abode versus this Martya Loka, and not only Martya Loka, the entire material world, the entire, let's say our 14 planetary system or other systems which are temporary. And then 6 is the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. In any case, in 6th also he has said that out of all the yogis, Bhakta Yogi is the best. So here again, the supremacy of devotion is again coming. So let's look at. So Krishna's answers to Arjuna's questions. So what are the questions? Arjuna inquired these questions. Oh my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? That is question 1. What is the self? That is question 2. What are fruitive activities? Question 3. What is a material manifestation? Question 4. And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. He further asks, Kim tat brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama, adi bhutam cha kim proktam, Adhidaivam kim uchyate. Further question he will ask. Adhiyagya katham kotra. देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. How does this Lord of sacrifice live in the body? That is fourth question. And in which part does he live? He lives in, of course, heart. We know Sarvasya Chaha Murdi Sannivishto. We know that. But he's asking, O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So Arjuna is asking all these questions for us because unless we get the answer, how we'll remember? Because that is the only thing for which we are doing everything. All our journey for towards bhakti is just to remember Krishna at the time of death and how to do that. So these are the questions, and so Charamarana Mokshamam Asrita yatanti ye te brahma tad viduhu kritsnam adhyatma karma chakhilam. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So this is the answer to the first question. So Adi Bhutadi Daivam Mam Sadhi Yagyam Cha Ye Viduhu Prayana Kale Pichamam. Te vidur yukta chetasaha, those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all method of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personal Godhead, even at the time of death. So, by knowing all this, accepting Krishna for all these things, that is, he is the governing principle of the material manifestation. One, he is the governing principle of the demigods, and also for the principle for all the sacrifices. By knowing this, one can remember him. So these are the eight questions. What is Brahman? Answer is Jiva is the indestructible living entity, or the soul is the Brahman. And who is Adhyatman? Adhyatma, controller of the body, the nature of Jiva, that is self. Karma, of course, we know there's fruitive activities or even action leading to material body. Then Adhibhuta is material manifestation, that is material nature. Adhidaiva. In fact, we have these miseries also, no? Adhidaivika, Adhibhutika, Adhyatmika, miseries are there. So they are also connected to this. So any misery with respect to material nature is basically Adhibhutika. Any miseries with respect to the demigods is called Adhidaivika. Then Adi Yagya, the enjoyer by sacrifice, the Paramatma. And where does Adi Yagya reside? In the heart of all. Sarvasya Chaham Hrudi Sannivishta Matta Srutirgyanam Apohanam Cha. How to remember Krishna at the time of death? Practice remembrance throughout life. So this is very, very important, which we are saying that remembering Krishna at the time of death is not easy. For that, the entire life has to be practiced with the remembrance. So Sarvesu Kalesu Mam Anusmara Yuddhascha. Why Krishna has said Sarveshu Kaleshu? He has not said that only at the time of deity worship, or only at the time of chanting, or only at the time of arti. Sarveshu Kaleshu. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Subhava Akshara Brahma Paramam Subhavadhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavo Bhavo Karo Visharga Karma Samjinitaha. The Supreme Lord said the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities. So, the last sentence, let us repeat. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities. And how does it happen? It happens because it gets entangled to the material nature. And this we have learned in second chapter itself. Like dehinosmin jatha dehe komaram yavananjara tatha dehantar prapti dhira satra namuyati. And also this happens from the death is not a final thing. Death is just a transmigration of the soul from one body to the other. And in fact, what is being said is that before, like, if you are in a rented house, then normally, before we leave the present rented house, we generally make an agreement for a new rented house. I mean, the other rented house is already ready. So similarly, here also, in fact, the other body is ready based on our karma, based on our last thought, all combiningly, the next body is ready based on our various gunas, which we have at the last moment. So we can see what happens if these activities or these thoughts are there at the time of death. Somebody, a bhakta is continuously like Prabhupada, who was even translating Bhagavatam at the time of death. He was remembering Krishna. So many devotees who remember Krishna, they have the Sarupya Mukti, and they straight away go to Goloka Vrindavan. Similarly, this person we can see is, you know, doing a beautiful, uh, you know, seva to the devotees, and so that he because of this, and he's giving to brahmanas also. So he is having a lot of, maybe he's getting some, you know, beautiful lokas, some good planets, and enjoying there. This person is indiscriminate eating. So then Paramatma in his heart is watching him that, okay, this is your, thought. So be it. If this is what you want, then rather you have a body like that. So you have a big, uh, body of a hog who doesn't discriminate between, food and stool. Similarly, the last one also, if the display of so much of sense gratification and sex, etc., then there will be Paramatma also sanctions that, and that becomes, dog. So all this happens. The fruitive activities based on this happens. And this is what it is. Adhibhutam charo bhavaha purusascha devatam adhiyagyo ahamevatra dehe dehe bhrutamvara. Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. That the mutable thing we easily understand by this picture of caterpillar to the butterfly, but this is just an example. What Krishna is saying, that this mutability or mutation happens throughout. See what is happening when we say, uh, you know, dehi nosmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara. When we say komara, yovanam, jara, these are simply different positions. This is also a kind of a, mutation which is happening. So this mutability happens throughout the universe. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as the Super Soul, dwelling in the heart of every embodied being. We saw that also, right? The first, the Karanadakshaya Vishnu, right? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters into each atom of, you know, as Paramatma. Section 2, 8.5 to 8.8. Remembering Krishna at the time of death. One attains whatever one remembers at the time of death. Sometimes it is seen as kind of, Krishna has kind of, it is not seen as a mercy, but it is seen as some kind of punishment, that somebody, one can always, argue saying that a person has done all good pious things, but for some reason at the last moment he thought, something about some sense enjoyment, and all because Krishna has said that whatever thought is there at the last moment, so he's being punished. Acharyas have refuted this. This will never going to happen like that. Whatever is a practice will only come at the time of death. That is point number one. And point number two is, it is in fact a mercy, because you are actually wanting that. Because if somebody is not desperately wanting something, that thing will not come at the time of death. So whatever is our actual desperation, our actual want, that will automatically come at the time of death. So Krishna sanctions it. That's mercy. So Krishna recommends Arjuna to undeviatingly meditate on him, dedicate his activities to him, and thus attend him. Antakale cha, this verse I think everyone should fully get by heart. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati sa sadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. And whoever at the time of death quit his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. If anyone will have some doubt, that also is being clarified by Krishna, so that not only for Arjuna, but for everyone, for eternity, that there is no doubt about that. And we can again see uh, in the Sarasajya, Bhishma Maharaj, we can see Bhishma Deva here and how he remembers. And he is not only remembering, Krishna himself is personally present. And this is also a beautiful story. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti ha yamalayam seshah sthavaram icchanti imascharjam atah param. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.2.57. So what he's saying that hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. This was the question asked by the Yaksha to all the Pandavas before Yudhishthira. It was asked to Arjuna, it was asked to Nakula, Sahadeva, everyone. And by the time Yudhishthira went there, he said that I am the master of this, owner of or master of this lake. So you cannot take water without my permission. And before you actually answer my to this quiz, and he asked this question that what is the most astonishing thing in the world? And none of them except Yudhishthira could answer that. And Yudhishthira said, and this is the most wonderful or rather astonishing thing in the world that all of us, everyone sees, everyone dying, but somehow he or she thinks that he is going to live eternally. This is the most wonderful, wondrous, and astonishing thing. So Jaksha, in fact, was pleased with this answer, and he give back the lives to the Pandavas. Yang yang vapi smaran bhavam त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम तम तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So there is a beautiful story coming now, and this story is of Bharata Maharaj, great Bharata Muni. He was such an exalted devotee and also a great king. And so he left all his great opulence and the kingdom and then went to jungle and did severe austerities and austerities that we saw in the Ashtanga Yoga system, much more austere than that. Waking up at 4 o'clock and then doing all kinds of sadhana, and he was totally immersed in Krishna consciousness. But what happened in between? It's on one fine day, there was a deer, a female deer, who was pregnant, but she died because a tiger was, running after it, and basically she delivered a baby, and beautiful, cute baby. And you can see this, how cute this is. And the baby deer was so cute that Bharata Maharaj got attracted to the deer, and he got so attached that every time, like he was thinking about the deer, where he is, what he is doing. Even when he's sleeping also, he's thinking that what should be doing, is he okay. And that same thing happened at the time of his death. He was thinking where he is he okay. And then unfortunately he becomes the deer in the next life. This is what happens. Tasmat. So therefore, after this example, he's saying, so therefore Krishna is saying tasmat. Therefore, sarvesu kalesu mam anusmara yuddhascha. Sarvesu kalesu mam anusmara. If you remember, so therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, not as anything else. In the Syama Sundara Krishna. 200 form, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You can see what is the trouble with the soul, mind, intelligence, and false ego. False ego is what? I am the body, I am not the soul. So, for a person who is in Krishna consciousness, in any case, this part is already taken care. He understands that he is the soul or she is the soul, she is not the body. So the false ego part slowly becomes, after some time, true ego. Of course, it might take how many lives or this life, that we don't know. But yes, it will happen for sure. Then other things which travel with the soul is the mind and intelligence. So therefore, Krishna is saying, with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attend me. Because now everything is dedicated to Krishna. So it will go to Krishna. It will find a body of Krishna's body, not any other body. अभ्यास यो अभ्यास योग युक्तेन चेतसा नान्य गामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थ अनुचिन्तयन्. He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So there's another beautiful story which is coming. We can see the person, in fact, the Vishnu Dutas are coming and taking that soul and giving him the body of Vishnu. He is also given the same form, the Sarupya Mukti, and they're taking him back to Godhead because he has remembered Krishna's name, because there is no difference between Krishna's name, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, his quality. So this is the beautiful story uh, of, in fact, Ajanmana. So Lord Krishna stresses on importance of reminding him by practice. So importance of remembering Krishna, so continuous repetition. So this refutes the need to give up prescribed duty to remember Krishna. Then how to think of Krishna in practical life? It gives constant thinking of Supreme Lord in any of his features is possibly by chanting Hare Krishna. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, any feature of Krishna. And practice is purifying, and at the Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, practice is purifying at the end of life, one transfers to kingdom of God. Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam, Yat Paratvena Nirmalam, Hrisikena Hrisikesa Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. Most effective way to remember Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So benefits of chanting is it revives the memory of Krishna. So all our senses are used, our ear, our eyes, our tongue, because it is hearing Krishna. The tongue is chanting Krishna. Then the mind is also thinking about various features of Krishna, and thereby attend the Supreme Lord and his planet. It is something like that caterpillar to butterfly. Caterpillar, in fact, constantly thinks to become a butterfly. Constantly thinks. He thinks so much to become a butterfly that ultimately he becomes butterfly. So, importance of Purusha. Lord is the real enjoyer, conforms Lord as a person. That is 8.9. Recommends meditating on Lord's form as a person. Again, as a person. Supreme personality of Godhead. So, remembering Krishna, practice remembrance through meditation, 8.9 to 13. So all these various things we have to remember. Krishna as what? As Kavi, as Puranam, as Anu Sasistaram, as Anoyor Aniyamsam, as all this, Sarvasya Dhataram, Achintya Rupam, Aditya Varnam, Tamasaha Parastar. All these are various ways and features of Krishna to be remembered. So Kavim Puranam Anusasitaram Anor Aniyamsam Kavim Puru Kavim Puranam Anusasitaram Anor Aniyamsam Anusamadhyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. one should meditate upon the Supreme Personal as one who knows everything and who knows everything. So Kavim is who knows everything. As who is the oldest, that is Purana, who is the controller, then who is smaller than the smallest, that's Anor Aniyam. Anor Aniyam is the smaller than the smallest, and who is the maintainer of everything, that is Sarvasya Dhataram, and who is beyond all material conception, that is Achinta Rupam, and who is inconceivable and who is always a person. So he is a Rupa, but inconceivable. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond the material nature. This is the way when we are thinking about Syama Sundara Rupa, and we are also worshipping, we're doing our deity worship in at our homes or in temple. This is the way to think of Krishna. That as Kabi, as Puranam, as Anu Sasa Sitaram, as Anoyar Aniyam, as Sarvasya Dhataram, as Achinta Rupam, all this. So Kavi is knower of everything, past, present, and future. Puranam is the oldest, has born out of him. Everything has born. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Anusasataram is controller. Anor Aniyamsam, smaller than the smallest. Then Dhataram, the maintainer. And the beyond all material concepts, all big planets are floating by his energy. Then Rupam, Achinta Rupam, in fact. So always a person, and it is inconceivable person. And Aditya Varnam, the color is like luminous like sun, and Tamasaha Parastat, that is transcendental beyond this material nature. These are the, you can say, 10 different ways of meditating on Lord Krishna. We can meditate on one, we can meditate on all 10. So what does it do? It refutes absolute truth is impersonal, recommends meditation on. So it basically refutes the concept of all the Mayavadis and impersonalists who say that God is not a person. If you see all these 10, if it is Kavi, if it is Anur Aniyam, if it is Dhataram, Achinta Rupam, everything validates that it is the form. So Krishna has a form. And all gods, demigods, everyone remembers him in this way. We can see, they are all remembering. Brahma is there, all Indras, all Devas. In fact, on the right hand side, Lord Shiva is also saying, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Tattulam Rama Nama Vranane. He's also saying to Parvati to remember uh, Krishna. So Prayana Kale प्राणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तयुग बलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणम् आवेश्य सम्यक् satam param purusham उपैति दिव्यम्. In fact, it has to be sung that way. प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तयुगो बलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणम् अवेश्य सम्यक् satam param purusham उपैति दिव्यम्. One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of the yoga with the undeviating mind engages himself in the remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a slowly we'll go to the Mishra Bhakti kind of a stage where there will be meditation as per the Ashtanga Yoga a little bit because this part is not part of our normal Krishna conscious activities. But this is this through this also Krishna is saying that one can attain. But he also says, no, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. So persons who are learned in the Badas, who utter Omkara and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. So they can realize the Brahman feature. So desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one gets liberation. So the yogic situation is that of the detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head, one establishes himself in yoga. So this is the Ashtanga yoga process where they meditate on the chakras. So various Muladhara chakra, then Manipura Chakra, then Anahata, and so many others chakras are there. And finally, the Sahasrara, and through which they, you know, get the Samadhi. This is the part of the Ashtanga Yoga system. So this is a practice. This is called the Mishra Bhakti. Practices of Yoga Mishra Bhakti is they raise the life air to the Agya Chakra, the last chakra, that they chant Om, renounce sense gratification, fix mind on heart. So describes Yoga Mishra Bhakti. All these practice assist yogis in remembering Krishna. They are not end in themselves. Because ultimately, even at fourth stage, let's say 1, 2, 3, and 4, also what happens? He fixes mind in devotion to Supreme Lord at death. So attaining the Supreme, thinking of Krishna while quitting the body, what does impersonality does? He does, you know, thinking about the impersonal Brahman, he thinks about Om, and then he merges with the Brahma Jyoti. But devotees, there is unlimited. The destination of devotees innumerable Vaikuntha planets because they don't go through this process. They go through the normal process of Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vandanam, all that. So pure devotional service, remembering of Krishna through bhakti, not Mishra bhakti. So by constant engagement in devotional service, one who undeviatingly remember Krishna easily attends the easily. So this word easily is coming here. Easily attends the Lord's abode, far from the miserable material world. So why it is miserable? Because there are three miseries, right? These miseries are what? Adhyatmika, Adhidevika, and Adibhutika. So Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Parthya Nityayuktasya Yogina. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So he's easily, we can see that, somebody who is chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, doing all the devotional service, for him it is so easy to, cut to the acts of the detachment and engage in the devotional service. And Krishna promises that he is available so easily. And he's also saying, Mamupetya punarjanma khalayam ashashvatam naptuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gatihi. So dukkhalayam ashashvatam, what is coming here, which we quote many, many times. So after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. Krishna is saying this is the world the full of miseries. Dukkhalam ashashvatam. If it is a dukkhalayam and aswashvatam, then it will be a foolish or moodha, so to say, or moodhata thing that we can enjoy. If somebody is thinking that he's enjoying, is basically falsely he's thinking that he's enjoying. Because this world can only give misery unless the devotional service starts, because they have attained the and for them he's saying that samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Another thing, another beautiful thing. Abrahma bhuvanalokaha punar avartinorjuna mamupetya tu konteya punarjanmana vidyate, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. That is from the Brahma Loka to the last Loka, not Martya. In fact, the hellish planets. All places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So everywhere. So heavens are at war, earth is at war, hell is just pain. So where to go? So these places are, some people think that by endeavoring, by doing prescribed duties as per Vedas, uh, they will attend beautiful places where there will be apsaras, there will be somarasa, there will be so many enjoyable things for not only for let's say 100 years. In terms of the Earth's time, it could be maybe million years. So, but then what? After million years, again they will fall down. to the earth, and again the birth, old age, disease, things will happen. So comparing the material and spiritual world is like this. Material world is continually being created and destroyed. Beyond this ocean of creation and destruction lies Krishna's abode, where he is present and can be attained only by unalloyed devotion to him. So there is an abode. First of all, that there is an abode, that is Krishna's abode, that is Goloka Vrindavana, which is which doesn't require any illumination. That no moon is required, no sun is required. It is self illuminated, and everyone is happy there. Everyone is doing service to Krishna in some or other way. Everyone looks like Krishna who are having this Salukya Mukti. So that's a beautiful place. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. So there are stages. Manifest stage where we see all the activities, everything, all lokas, all the 14 lokas, all formation happens. But again, in the night of the Brahma, everything goes to the unmanifest state. So all the souls, in fact, goes into the belly of the Karanadakshayi Vishnu. So basically, dissolution doesn't mean that there is a death or dissolution of the souls. It simply goes to a state of unmanifest. So Brahma's day, at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and Brahma's night, at the night of Brahma, they are again merged into the unmanifest. So parastasmatu भावन्यो व्यक्त 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 व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः सर्वेषु भूतेषु nasyastuna vinashyati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Because if a particular part is doesn't remain in the time of dissolution, then how the creation will happen? This is also a logical question. Because if everything, gets, let's say, destroyed, then nothing remains for a creation. Something has to remain, and there has to be some abode which is eternal. So that is his abode. And all these people all the bhaktas are trying, and and he's waiting here. You see, we can see Lord Shiva, we can see various, Gandhava, Devas, great rishis. The Supreme Personal Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Prabhupada uses this word unalloyed devotion to mean that there is no other anya vilashita shunyam. There is no other wish. There is no other wish. There is no other wish at all except Krishna. That is called unalloyed devotion. Which other way we see in nectar of devotion, that anya vilachata shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam anugulyena Krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. So this is the beautiful description of the spiritual world. The absolute nature, Krishna's abode is non-different from him. So there is no difference between Krishna and his abode, his name, his pastime, everything is same. And that is free from birth and death. What a beautiful place. That means there is no misery. It is infallible because it is Krishna's superior energy is there. It is opposite to the material energy. And there's an unlimited bliss opposed to the material world, which is full of miseries. And the bliss that we think is basically perverted image of actual bliss. What we think enjoyment is a perverted reflection of the bliss. So fulfills all desires. It is all attractive, unmanifested to mundane eyes, transcendental, and both to manifest and unmanifest, and supreme. It's the supreme destination, a place of no return. Yat gatva na nivartante. The supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. It's very beautiful, right? The supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. So devotional service has been always superior to any other. It is again, once again, 223 to 26, we will talk about this. So yatra kale tu anapritam apritim chaiva yoginaha prayatayanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarsarva. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogi does or does not come back. So for the yogis, for example, uh, on the right hand side we see Vishmadeva. So he was waiting actually for the Uttarayana. There's a time. So there is a Dakshinayana, there is a Dushayana where the sun's place when it goes to the northern solstice and to the southern solstice. So based on that position, uh, I mean, as per the Ashtanga Yogi process, some people they actually prefer the time of death, but that is possible only for Vishma because he has got the Ichamritu boon. So he can choose, or maybe some yogis can do it. Normal person cannot do it. And for devotee, it is not even required. So those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light. So, so in the time of fiery god, so they call it in the time of the light. So they just use one word called light. At an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So this is the time they chose. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the southern, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. So these are the times. So for the northern, either the moon's position or the sun's position in a particular time, then it gets liberated. Otherwise, he comes back. That is 8.25. So ways to leaving the body. So yogis and gyanis and karma kandis, they have certain practice. For yogis and gyanis, they practice the light, that is primarily the dakshinayana as well as the waxing moon and attain Brahma Jyoti. Karma kandis, they the darkness attain heavenly planets and then return to earth. And devotees, they can leave the body at any time and they attain Krishna because they remember Krishna at the time of death. So they don't need light, that they don't need darkness. All these timings are not required. So Naiti Sruti Partha, Naiti Sruti Partha, Janam Yogi Muihati Kaschana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukta Bhavarjuna. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. So devotees knows. It's not that devotee doesn't know about these two paths. There are two paths. One path for the light, one path for the dark. And in the darkness, they go to the heavenly planets, again come back. However, he is not bewildered because he can remember Krishna, like Prabhupada. He doesn't require anything. He's always immersed in the thought of Krishna. And at the same time, Yuddhascha. Vedes वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव दानेषु युत् पुण्यफलप्रदिष्टम् उद्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानम् उप्येति चात्यम्. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft if the results derived from the studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. The best example is our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. From the beginning, in fact, from his childhood, he was fond of he was running the toy Ratha. So this is the uh, summary. Krishna's answer to Arjuna's questions. So remembering Krishna at the time of death, remembering Krishna, practice remembrance through meditation, pure devotional service, remembering Krishna through bhakti, comparing the material and spiritual worlds that we have seen. How does Krishna's abode look like? It is spiritual, and it is eternal. It is full of bliss. Then the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. And why supremacy? because it doesn't require any time. So therefore it is superior because then you don't have to choose anything. So there we come to the end of chapter 8. Close, stop the share and stop this stream as well. Hold on.